Hello there. Welcome to Saturday Service, the podcast all about faith and football with me, Graham Boozy, in association with the Livestreams churches in Southend-on-Sea in England. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Carrubbers FC player, Mr. Kyle Hall. How you doing, Carl?
Nice to meet you today. I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join me and talk a little bit about your football journey. As we start, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. So my name's Kyle Hall. Play for Carrubbers FC, who are in the Edinburgh Churches League. Just turned 30 years old. I still hope I've got a good few years left in me to play football. Work for the NHS as well, so I enjoy that. I'm quite a people person, so it's a good opportunity for me to come on this podcast today.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So obviously, from my brief sort of bit of internet research, I encounter a lot of people who love football, but you seem to be on another level to me. It's like you live and bleed it. I always like to ask people first off, do you remember what got you into it in the first place? Is there a particular team, player, moment that you think, yeah, this is what I like?
It's weird. When I was a kid, honestly, I was very late to get into football. Maybe when I was getting closer to maybe about 10 years old, I was getting more into it. So I'd play football in the back garden with my dad. He bought a set of the little goals. We'd do that. We'd go up to the local primary school and kick the ball about and stuff like that. He'd take me to a couple of football matches and up to the old AstroTurf and stuff like that. My granddad and my uncle were a big influence on me for football. They both got me into Manchester United. So they've both had season tickets at Old Trafford since 2006, which was incredible being from Scotland. They used to go down to the games and they got a text message one day saying, "Oh, you can get 2 season tickets." So they jumped on that opportunity. So my uncle took me to my first ever Manchester United game in 2008. And obviously my granddad took me down to a lot of games as well, and they both got me a season ticket in 2013. So all three of us have tickets in the Stretford End. So we've made some incredible memories following Manchester United over the years, despite how they've fallen recently.
Well, this is the interesting thing because I was looking at Manchester United this season, and everything I've seen in the media has been like, "Oh, this is a disaster. It's an unmitigated." But you're in the Champions League.
There's a lot of positives.
Yeah, and I was just wondering. I see a disaster, whereas Champions League football's pretty good. How has the football been this season?
So it's been a lot more refreshing, to put it that way. Last season, I went to every single home game at Old Trafford, and it was tough to watch at times. You'd be going to games, you'd maybe losing 1-0 to teams like Wolves with a set piece goal. This season, you're seeing more attack and flair, kind of like the old Manchester United way. You've got Cunha, who's driving with the ball very well, and Buemo's got pace. Sesko's one of these almost throwback strikers. He can get on the ball in the air, he can finish well. And Bruno Fernandes last season was at an incredible level because I think if we didn't have Bruno Fernandes last season, Man United could have finished even further down the league, potentially relegation. It's that crazy. And this season, he's kept his standards high and he's on 16 assists in the Premier League. So he's flying at the moment.
And so, where did your aspirations come in to your life to play football and to be actively involved in playing, as you do quite regularly?
So when I was in primary school, there was a lot of kids that were into football, and I was obviously, as I said, a late developer to football, and I wanted to get into it as I started getting passionate about the sport. Found it tough at first to get into the football stuff like that because obviously I wasn't on the same sort of skill set or level as them, but I just kept plugging away. It was more when I got into high school, I ended up getting into like the high school football team. So that was a good experience for me, despite again finding it challenging. The first team I ever played for was one from Edinburgh called Joppa United.
Okay.
So they're based in the sort of Portobello area, Edinburgh. That was a great experience for me. They would play me as a sweeper, so I was about 12 years old, 13 years old when I was playing for them. And we actually ended up winning a cup. It was just like a one-off game, like a memorial match.
Yeah.
But that was a good experience for me with that team to actually win like a trophy in football. It's something that I'd aspire to achieve with Carrubbers in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously as kids we all have these dreams of playing football at the highest level. Well, for me, I realised quite quickly that wasn't happening. I can't kick a ball straight to save my life. And you might be able to reflect back, as we will do further, on you playing football. But I would argue the fact that you've played at the Pushkash Arena, you've
Oh
played
wow, yeah.
you've played at Easter Road, you
Yeah,
played at the Falkirk Stadium and you
yeah,
play regularly for a team, I would argue you're not far off in a way.
I agree with you. I'm living my own sort of dream. Any opportunities that come to me in football, I'll take them. It's been a dream of mine to play at Old Trafford. It's maybe a bit out the way, but I've got contacts at Old Trafford from going to the games that might be able to get me on the pitch for one of these end of the season games. So we'll see. That's the ultimate dream.
How did you come to I really have to ask, how did you come to play at the national stadium in Hungary? How did that come about?
But it was incredible actually. I was down at Manchester United versus Sevilla at Old Trafford with two of my mates, and then I seen a lady and a gentleman from the betting company Bwin.
Right.
They were getting fans to do chants and just, like, interviewing them and stuff, so I just sort of walked past and I jumped in, I started doing a United chant, and they're like, "Oh, we love your passion, blah, blah, blah." Started speaking to them. They said, "Oh, here's an email, like, what's your email and phone number and stuff like that?" And then she said, "Apply for this tomorrow morning." I never thought much of it at the time, but I applied for it, like, the next morning after the Manchester United game. 5 weeks later, I got an email saying, "Oh, you've won the competition." And I was able to take one of my mates. So I said to my mate that was at the game with me at Old Trafford, like, "If I win this, you're coming with me."
Nice.
So they paid for the flights, hotels, gave us tickets for the cup final, got to do a training session with Cambiasso and Luis Garcia, and then got to obviously play that match. All like a professional player. We got taken on a team bus and everything like that. It was incredible few days.
That's incredible. I love that. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that for me, that would be dream done, but I
Yeah,
appreciate you got more aspirations. Recently played your 60th match for Carrubbers FC.
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about them. How did you first become associated with them? How did you find yourself playing for them?
It's a good story actually. So it's a gentleman that plays for the team. I'll give him a wee shout out. Chris Ringland. He's a West Ham fan.
Okay.
A really nice guy. So I play five-a-sides on a Monday night with his father-in-law, and then one Chris was coming quite regularly, but then I hadn't seen him for a while. I was like, "Oh, I've been away training." I was like, "Oh, like what are you training for?" And he's like, "Well, I play for a football team, Carrubbers. That's my training." So he's like, "I'll get you in the pre-season." So I've like showed up to like the pre-season and stuff. And one of my actual friends from high school, like a few years below me, called Jake Morris, he's actually set up the whole club. So I knew him. So it was a great experience to get in the door at Carrubbers.
Talk to me a little bit about Carrubbers. So the reason I was interested to talk to you was because everyone I've talked to so far is like from the church, so that's why
Yeah.
they play for the team. And so I'm interested because obviously you played a bit for Bonnie Rig Amateurs
Yeah.
beforehand. Is there a marked difference, or is it still football's football? And I'm interested to know for you if there's a difference by playing in the Edinburgh League as opposed to
Of course.
standard
I would
amateur.
say that this league is actually very highly competitive. There's a lot of good teams in the league, such as Port Seton and St Mary's are competing up at the top. Just now at Crubbers, we're about a mid-table side, but we've got higher aspirations, and I do think we will get there. We've just got to keep plugging away. So standard compared to the league I played in with the Bonnie Amateurs, I'd say it's about the same, if not better, because like these teams are taking this league really seriously. I think there's about 13 teams at the moment in the league, looking to maybe add an extra one next season.
And is there a difference in the attitude of the players? Are players, I don't know, less likely to have a go at the ref, or is it just, as I say, is it just like normal football and it's how it is?
I'd say definitely in the league there is a lot more respect shown the referees across the board, which is a good thing.
Mm,
Obviously, don't get me wrong, there will still be times where someone may shout out at a ref, but it's not really a Carrubbers FC thing to do. We've got the motto more than football,
mhm.
and we like to show respect to our opposition, the referees, and anyone that's watching the games. If you go back and watch an episode from a TV show that's shown in Scotland on the BBC, A View from the Terrace,
Mm.
Jake Morris and Kieran Elder talk more about the values of Carrubbers FC. So it was set up to have good values, not just about winning games, about showing respect to people.
Which is really important, I think. I think almost more important to have that sense of community. And it's worth mentioning that episode of View from the Terrace is available on the BBC Scotland YouTube. Should anyone wish to have a look at that, what does it mean for you playing for Carrubbers? What does it give you? I noticed you were the unsung hero last
Yeah.
season. You won that at the awards night. Yeah, what do you get from it? What's it like playing with that group of lads?
I think it's an amazing bunch of lads. Honestly, sounds cliche, but I couldn't imagine playing football like in a team with any other guys, just because there's something special about the club. There's a lot of unity. I'll walk into the dressing room, I'll shake hands with them all. Everyone asks, how's your week been? How's your day been? Everyone's there to look out for each other if anyone's going through a difficult time. It's a really well knit community there at Carrubbers FC.
Speaking of this season, I'm always interested. We spoke about the unity of the team. Is that what keeps you going through perhaps a slightly more difficult period?
100%. Obviously, we've had some interesting games recently. Last week we played against Ladywell. We went 2-0 up at half time. We were looking really good. Unfortunately, we lost 4-2, but do you know what? We'll go to the next game. The next game which followed was Mission this weekend, just past. So we were 0-0 in the game for the first half, and then I think we conceded about the 60th minute to go 1-0 down. This is football. We played really well for those first 60 minutes. It happens. We're ready to go again. The boys are looking forward to training on Thursday. We've got a good group in now. So we've got Stephen Moya, as he's also known as. He's the main coach of Carrubbers FC, but we've also got a team of Ali, Jake, and Callum who sort of run the coaching side of the club as well. So it's quite, for an amateur club, it's quite a professional setup, if you know what I mean. Like, we take it quite seriously. We want to do well. We want to climb up that league table and compete in the cup competitions.
As someone who is not necessarily from a Christian background, have you found the league and the team welcoming irregardless? Is it sort of, yeah?
I agree with you there. So I feel very welcomed in the team. And since I've been there for 3 seasons now, if anyone else new joins the team, I always welcome them. I actually recommend some players to join the team. So there's a gentleman called Chris. He's just moved to Scotland about 4 months ago from China. He's now training with the team, and he actually made his debut at the weekend, and he's only 18 years old. So it's a great experience for him. There's also another gentleman called Paul from my work at the NHS. I think he's from Nigeria. I got him along to the team, and he's made his debut. So it's a very welcoming group. Doesn't matter your background, your age, whatever, you're always welcome at the team.
And I think that's the important thing, isn't it? I appreciate that, the core of the team is perhaps involved with the church, but it's important to open that up to other people because it sort of demystifies the church a little bit, I think. I think it shows that, you can just be committed and you will receive a friendly welcome, which is really nice to see. Speaking about the sense of community and things like that, I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about your involvement with Destiny FC as well.
Of course. So Destiny United FC, they're quite a new team at the moment. So they're about to start in the Scottish Mental Health and Wellbeing League. They've got a CEO called Andrew Stevenson, and their deputy CEO is John Toner. So Destiny United FC is again a club that's welcoming to all. So it's got similar ethos to Carrubbers FC, where it doesn't, with Destiny, it doesn't matter about your ability. You'll be allowed to join the team. So it's not as competitive as Carrubbers FC, but I think it will still be quite a high level football, because that game we played at the Falkirk Stadium was quite intense because they had some good players. That was a Falkirk community team, so I think that's more about mental health and well-being as well.
Yeah, and so what's the general sort of purpose of the team? Is it just to sort of promote positive mental health and conversations, maybe?
Exactly that. So it's going to be a safe place for people to attend and play football. A bit like Carrubbers as well, it's a bit more than football. They're going to be offering other classes such as like maybe yoga. They've got a rugby team and stuff starting up. So the whole thing's called the Destiny Project. They've got their own website and stuff like that. So it's a wider picture looking at helping people's mental health and also helping the wider community, like the elderly and young children. So I think they're setting up more initiatives to help with that.
Excellent. I like how you just casually dropped, "Oh, I played at the Falkirk Stadium as well."
Yeah, yeah,
You've gone around all these stadiums, and
yeah,
it's brilliant. I love it, mate, honestly. Now, obviously, this summer, the World Cup coming up, I just wanted to touch a little bit on that.
yeah,
But firstly, obviously, I'm an Englishman, but I really enjoy the Scottish game, and I've got an awful lot of time for it. So yeah, I was following Scotland's qualification journey, and that match at Hampden was just unbelievable to watch. And that's coming from me as someone, from the
yeah.
outside, if you like. It was just McTominay's goal, the halfway line. It was just magical to watch. You were there. How was it?
Honestly, it was such a special night. See when Scott McTominay scored that overhead kick, I
Yeah,
literally felt like Zidane felt when Ronaldo done that overhead kick in the Champions League. It was just like an unbelievable moment. Exactly, exactly. And then on my phone, I was recording at the end, hoping for the full time whistle, and then Kenny McLean just strikes it from the halfway line. That was unbelievable. Hampden Park went into pandemonium. Pandemonium. Honestly, that was such a special night for Scotland. They've been fighting for years to try and get in a World Cup, haven't they?
yeah.
It's 1998. I would have been 2 years old, so I can't remember that.
I've got a few more years on you, so I watched that. What's it like going into a major tournament like this? Do you kind of just feel, well, we're there, this is great, and we'll enjoy it? Or is there a hope still that, you might be able to play in the manner you did against Denmark and possibly progress to a certain degree? What's your hopes for that?
You've definitely got to have hope with the World Cup. I think you can't underestimate any opposition, though. I think the game against Haiti is going to be difficult. They've actually just signed Wilson Isidore, who plays for Sunderland. So he's going to be their main striker. And I expect them to have a strong defence in midfield. And then obviously the game against Morocco, they've got some fantastic players, Hakimi, Amrabat, to name a few, all their attacking talents as well. That's going to be a very tough game. They've just actually strangely won the AFCON despite losing the final 2 months later. They've got the trophy. And then obviously the big game you've got is the game against Brazil. That could be the decider. I think a lot of Scotland fans hope that Brazil will have 6 points by that third game. But even if Brazil were to play a weaker team, they've still got incredible players. Like, as a Manchester United fan, maybe a bit biased, but Casemiro and Cunha, like, coming up against them is going to be tough. Vinny Jr., look what he's doing for Real Madrid. And unfortunately, Rodrigo's injured. He would have been a great player for Brazil in the World Cup. So it's got to be optimistic, see what happens. It will be tough. I was at the Euros in Germany, but personally, I'm not going to the World Cup. I was maybe tempted to go, but I've heard that some Scotland fans are paying maybe like something ridiculous, like £15,000. I just see it's too much money to spend on a World Cup, and especially with sadly the war that's going on and stuff like that. It's a lot of political tension surrounding a World Cup. It's a shame.
Unfortunately, yeah, and I think that's kind of the correct decision to make, and at least you're sticking to a certain your morals on that as well. But yeah, it's no, the ticketing prices has been wild for this. It's unbelievable, but obviously, I'm sure you'll be cheering them on at home. I'm not
Yeah,
sure how I'll feel because by about 9 o'clock, I'm thinking about turning in for the night.
yeah.
So obviously, you might just have to make your way through the day for that. Yeah, I just wanted to sort of tie it together. What does football mean to you, and what has it given you in life?
Definitely, football is my biggest passion in life. I just feel incredible playing, watching, talking about football. Like, even just something as simple as coming on this podcast to chat to you just now, it's got my mind ticking, feeling good about all this football chat I can speak about. Do you know what I mean? I could speak for years about football.
Absolutely, yeah, no, join the club, absolutely. And finally, what position do you play for Carrubbers, by the way? I never asked. Are you like
Yeah.
a utility player or
I'm quite a versatile player, quite a utility player, but mainly at the moment it's been on the right side of midfield.
yeah?
Do sometimes play left midfield. We've now been using a system with wing backs, so quite often maybe a right wing back. But mainly on the right side of midfield. But I feel like in my past playing football, I started off as a centre back, full back, so I can play anywhere.
I was just wondering if there was a certain player growing up who you think, yeah, used to imagine you might have been playing, as them. Who would that be?
Or like for the magic of football and the smile on your face playing the sport, it would have to be Ronaldinho. Do you know what I mean? Ronaldinho. I used to go on holiday to Spain with my mum and my dad and brothers and sisters, and we play football and stuff like that. It was special times on one of these old concrete pitches in Spain. It was really nice. And on the beaches as well, we used to meet up with some family friends and play football on the beach. It was special there. Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney obviously were players I was looking up to when I was growing up as well. But just now, it's more players like Luka Modric. And obviously, one of my biggest idols is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I just love his character. And I think just now, the way that I'm sort of trying to play is like John McGinn,
Yeah,
the way he uses his body and stuff like that.
yeah.
I've been doing that a lot in matches recently.
Excellent. I'm glad you mentioned Luka Modric because I will die on the hill that he is so underrated as a player, and I know he got the Ballon d'Or, but he's very rarely in these sort of conversations. So I'm really pleased you said him as well. Just a quick one before we wrap it up. You are involved with another project regarding football kits. Is that correct?
Of course, yes. So I'm involved with a company called Kit Round. So a shout out to Kit Round. They're doing really great things. So all over Britain, they're trying to like distribute second-hand kits. So, for example, if you had any old sportswear or football kits, you could sell them to them,
Mhm.
and they could find a second home. They also help a lot of charities that way through their football. And it's not just football; it's like rugby, athletics, swimming, any sort of sports gear. So it's really good what they're doing. Kit Round.
Fantastic. And just, yeah, I was interested to talk about faith a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself going down that path at all as a result of playing for Carrubbers, or are you just quite happy, just playing with the team? Because both paths are great.
To me, I've very built into the Crubbers ethos more than football. So I've been exploring faith and Christianity, and I'm really enjoying it. Last night, I actually went to church, sort of last minute thing. One of our players, Sean Brennan, is quite involved with Crubbers, the church itself. So he was doing a nice little talk at the church, and I ended up going to the student night, which was on afterwards for the first time, and that was a great experience. Just meeting some other young, like-minded people. They even done a prayer for myself, and I done a prayer for them, especially for the health of my family and my friends. So that was a nice experience. And I've also been at Dalkeith Baptist Church because the guys I play in football with tonight on a Monday night, Donald Cameron, he's quite involved with Dalkeith Baptist Church. So that's Chris Ringland's father-in-law, just to link that together. So he was part of an Alpha course that I attended. So I enjoyed that experience as well. That just gets your mind thinking there's more to life than just this. I've always felt that way.
That's good to know. And I think what's I could be wrong, but to me it sounds like there's not really too much pressure though on you.
No,
It's up to you. If you wish to explore, that's fine, but you're kind of left if you wish. And I think that's the perfect way to go about it because I don't think it necessarily should be forced upon people.
exactly. It's really nice. It's a great environment. So I'll just quickly run you through how like a match day would work. So we'd get in the changing rooms, just have a like I've said earlier, have a nice little chat. How you doing, guys? Then we would someone would do a little talk about maybe something in the Bible, maybe a verse, and they would link it to maybe football and everyday life, which is really nice. And then we'd go over the tactics, we'd warm up. Before we kick off the match, we'll get in a nice little huddle and we'll just do a little prayer before the game. Maybe like just a prayer, like I hope everyone has a nice game on this beautiful day and that we don't get any injuries and that everyone just like plays in a respectful manner. So just nice little things like that.
That's excellent. And a very different way to go about it as well. Yeah, I guess I would ask if there's anything else you'd like to talk about or mention. The floor is yours.
Perfect. No, I just a little bit more about Carrubbers FC. I'm really enjoying my time at the club. As I said, it's my third season there. Hopefully we can achieve more. I think we can hopefully finish the season strong and then kick on in my fourth season. I was joking last night to one of my friends. You've probably heard the quote yourself. Ange, unfortunately, sacked by Spurs, but he went on Netflix. The third season's always better than the second. So my friend Ali, who's a coach at the team, said, "Well, you played 60 minutes on Saturday. You're ready to go." And he was joking that I was a franchise player to some of the people at the church. So that was quite a good laugh.
Excellent.
Yeah, so just loving it at Carrubbers FC. I'm also involved with an app called Striver. I don't know if you've had a chance to see them on Instagram.
Yeah, I caught a little bit
So
of
like,
it.
football heritage would definitely be suited to it. So it's about football, but without the hate. Do you know what I mean? You can't abuse people on that platform, and it is to try and get just football fans like myself or anyone else on the street that loves football just to go on it and chat about football. And the pro players, for example, or the ex-pro players as well, Gilberto Silva, Roberto Carlos, they're all using that and they've actually connected with the fans on it. So it's just a nice atmosphere. So that's going to take off properly soon. So when there's more information about that, I'll be in touch with you.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, and because football online, it can be such a horrendously toxic place.
Yeah,
And I think people forget about the human being on the other end of the screen. So it sounds like a really wonderful initiative and something worth checking out. And of course, people can go and check out Carrubbers FC. I believe they
yeah.
have a website. I should have
So
researched
there's
that.
a no, don't worry. So there's a website for the Edinburgh Churches League. So I think it's like ECFA, or just Google Edinburgh Churches League. It'll come up. It's actually excellent. It's got the league table. It's got all the fixtures that are coming up, the past results, even the goal scorers. They also have a Twitter under the same sort of handle, ECFA. But Carrubbers FC, they've got their Facebook page and an Instagram. They do have a Twitter, but that Twitter's not really active. So Instagram and Facebook are the two best things to go and follow us on. And personally myself, I've been trying to grow the club a lot on social media because I want to see us achieve more, and I want more people to find out about this. And I do have people on the street or at the gym or whatever, wherever I'm at my work, asking about football, and then I start talking to them about Carrubbers FC, and it's a great conversation. So I've really enjoyed speaking to yourself today about Carrubbers FC and more.
No, I really appreciate the time, Kyle. It's been really good to talk to you, and I absolutely love your passion for football. It's making me almost want to go out and try and do
Yeah,
five-a-side again. You know what I
you
mean?
should, mate.
I'm feeding off it. I need to lose a good few stone as well, so maybe that is the answer as well. So yeah, Kyle, thank you ever so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. It's been wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you very much for your time, and I'm hoping that we can do this again soon. Maybe in the future, if Carrubbers FC win a cup or something, can come on and chat about that.
Hey, maybe a World Cup special's in the offing. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That could be a good shout as well. I love your passion for the game, and just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep supporting you online.
Yeah, thank you ever so much for your support, Kyle. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you. All the best.
Cheers.
Cheers.